Top 5 most famous huskies in the world. Who doesn't love huskies? Given the way most of them appear so cute and adorable. Given that some of these animals are actually more loyal than humans, any animal lover would naturally yearn to keep a husky. These charming four-legged friends are known to be man's best friend. And this is why this video, we will introduce you to the story of the 5 most famous huskies known in the world. These stories would leave you either clapping in excitement, exclaiming in wonder, or shedding a tear or two. Whatever you would like to do while listening to these husky stories would be worth your while. So pull up a chair, pay apt attention, and we will get started in a bit. Before we get started with this video, don't forget to subscribe and click on the bell button to stay in touch with all the fun-filled and entertaining videos we share on this channel. Let's dive in. Number 5. Mukluk. Over the times, huskies have been used habitually for professional expeditions and sometimes as talisman in college sports. Funny enough, most of these pups are better teammates most of the time. Back in 1960, during the Iceworm Project, one of the most famous husky Lucky Charms was a Mukluk. The Iceworm Project was a secret project held by the US Army to build a massive network of mobile nuclear launch sites under Greenland. During the Cold War, this project was constructed secretly to prevent the Danish from finding out about it. The project was ultimately dispersed as it became evident that the ice sheet's unstable situations would destroy the planned stations and tunnels in just a few years from construction. In order to distract the Danish, the US Army created a cover for the project. They constructed Camp Century, a site for testing construction techniques under Arctic conditions. It was merely the perfect distraction. During the site's construction, about 150 persons were brought in as part of the building team. Amongst the group was an unofficial mascot, Mukluk. Mukluk has been commemorated as a TY Beanie Baby collectible toy. It will amaze you to know that the toy has a blue and green bi-eyes. Number 4. Droopy. On our list is another story of a husky that survived through a dreadful condition. That husky is Droopy. Nevertheless, this story would not be complete without mentioning Mick Polly, the husky's very smart rescuer. Back in the 70s, Mick Polly was apparently exploring Pourquoi Pas, an island in Antarctica, south of Chile. He was not alone, as he journeyed with some company and with a pack of sled dogs. Droopy was also within this team of travelers. Regrettably, 2 of the pups accidentally slipped and fell into an ice crevasse during the journey. And to make the matter more severe, the huskies progressed to a fight with themselves. And as though he was pulled by a more potent force, Droopy dropped out of his harness and fell underneath the crevice out of sight. Terrified he might meet the pup in a terrible state, Polly successfully pulled the other huskies back to safety and then threw himself into one of the 150 feet deep crevasse to look for Droopy. Well, just in case the doggy may be found in horrible pain, he took his pistol along with him. Apparently, it would be safer to shoot him dead than see the husky writhing in pain, trying to stay alive. But guess what? Droopy had managed to control his fall and was hanging onto his 4 paws. He spread his 4 paws and was intelligently straddling the crevasse. After getting down into the crack, Polly untied himself and passed through the cleft to locate Droopy, and when he got to him, he brought him off his paws and tied him to his own rope before climbing back up the cleft. Luckily, his companion was ready to help, and he pulled both man and animal up the rock. And they survived happily ever after, whatever that means. Number 3. The 8 Below Huskies. Remember that rather fascinating and yet interesting movie 8 Below? A 2006 adventure movie that had the late Paul Walker and Bruce Greenwood in it? Well, I am excited to tell you the film stemmed from a real-life story. Yup, you heard that correctly. Okay, so you recall the movie. It trailed a double-crossing journey to Antarctica with a pack of sled dogs. The sled had a combination of Alaskan Malamutes and Siberian Huskies. However, it was an arduous journey as human hubris and terrible weather clashed and left the team afflicted with frostbite and hypothermia and other injuries. No doubt, the pups are the heroes in this story. They managed to lead the humans back to base and saved them from certain death. Regardless of this sacrifice on the huskies' part, the humans left Antarctica abandoning the pups at base camp for about 6 months until the protagonist in the story raised the necessary funds for a rescue expedition. The huskies' names were Truman, Max, Maya, Shadow, Old Jack, Buck, Shorty, and Dewey. Number 2. Charlie. It is a proven fact that Siberian Huskies are quite strong. However, in 1963, Charlie took it to the next level. During that year, Charlie made a mark that had never been tried by any Siberian Husky ever. He single-handedly pulled a 3,142-pound sled. And for his strength and bravery, he was given the award of the strongest dog alive. While an average Husky pup may not achieve this much, it is safe to say that this breed's stamina and endurance in general packs quite a punch. Number 1. Balto, Togo, and Fritz. Today, our number 1 is the 3 of the most famous Huskies ever: Balto, Togo, and Fritz, a group of dogs that led the Great Race of Mercy. There is a likelihood that you may be familiar with the 1995 children's film Balto. Nevertheless, are you also aware that the cartoon is based on fact? In 1925, there was an outbreak of diphtheria, a fatal yet contagious disease in Nome. The cure, a medical serum that would resolve the health crisis, was hundreds of miles away in Anchorage, about 500 miles to be precise. To worsen the entire situation, the weather was nasty, with so much snow that only sleds could be used as transportation. Several volunteers in the village stepped up, ready with their team of loyal athletic Huskies. In no time, a chain of sleds was set up across Alaska. Each musher was pitched at different checkpoints where they would be relieved, allowing for the sled teams to have some intermittent rest during the 5-day journey. While a dispatch of dog sleds transported the antidote to town, the final leg was led by Balto. Balto was the Husky that miraculously led his team through 54 miles of blizzards and negative 40-degree temperature. When the group successfully made it to Anchorage to get the antidote, Balto was addressed as a hero. Togo and Fritz, who were half-brothers, they are also important figures in the race and led an essential section of the expedition themselves. Anyway, the successful serum movement to Nome was due to the hard work and bravery of many men and their canine companions. However, Balto became the face of the monumental success and now is known as one of the most famous Huskies in history. Today, a bronze statue stands in Central Park to remember the steadfast endurance and courage we've come to relate with our canine friends. While you may be accustomed to the classic romance of the Lady and the Tramp and a mystery-solving Great Dane, Scooby-Doo, no doubt they all bring all the lovable qualities of Husky pets to life. However, it cannot be compared to the real-life story, not even our favorite Snoopy story. And as loving and faithful animals, Huskies have since been a lovable companion. Although they are selfless and humble at heart, they often find ways into fame, gaining the public's attention and adoration. This is exactly what inspired our list of the most famous Huskies ever. You may have known and seen a few of these celebrities. Again, some of the most famous Huskies in history have graced the silver screen, seen wartime, been key counterparts in our scientific discoveries, and helped our servicemen in times of trouble. Well, that's it for me in today's video. The top 5 most famous Huskies in the world. Which one of these Huskies do you think did the bravest action ever?